Hello, Rachel Ashman.
Good evening, PGM. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm not too shabby. It's a bit late though, isn't it?
It's
Us old
late.
ladies, we should be in bed at this time.
Well, one old lady. What am I doing here? I seem to have appeared on a Festival of the Unexplained.
You have. So we've been a bit rubbish, haven't we? So we've not officially announced you yet, even though you're on all the promotional materials, you're on the website. So everybody, this is Penny. Penny is a very dear friend, and she's also a haunted historian, author, and all-round superstar TV celebrity. She's very tiny, very mouthy, comes from Essex. So Penny is joining us for the festival. She is part of our team festival. And we really should get you on that promotional video at the start, shouldn't we, really?
Possibly.
Yeah,
Possibly.
definitely. We'll
Maybe
make that
next year. Next year.
Yeah, we'll do it for 2025. So Penny's very kindly agreed to join me tonight. We have 2 guests tonight, and we're super excited to speak with them because we get to meet them soon, don't we, in person?
We do, because Rachel and I think a lot of people know about this, but if they don't, we're going on a road trip to Canada. We're not driving to Canada, obviously. We're not that brave. We're flying out to Canada next month. Well, beginning of May, and we're going to see the wonderful Mr. Wes Coleman. We're spending a few days with him, and then the gorgeous boy that he is, he's driving us down into America, across the border. We're going to do a run across the border, and we're going to be meeting this lovely pair of our guests at the Shanley Hotel. That's right, isn't it? Shanley? Yeah, hotel, to spend the night there and do a bit of an investigation. Actually, then the following night we're doing Fort Mifflin. I don't know what we're doing the next 2 nights, other than the fact that I've put a request in that when we go to Philadelphia, I get to do a Rocky run up the steps, and I've been running in training for this. So this is very important.
What scares me about that is that I also have to climb those stairs to be able to record you doing the Rocky run. So this could be a really broken montage. So
editing.
I'm glad I'm not on camera because I'll be sweating. Anyway, no one needs to hear about our America trip right now. We can bore them with live videos once we get over there.
We can.
Shall we bring
Would you like me to bring our guests in?
Please bring them on, yes.
This has been the first time I've properly met them, and I can already say I'm a little bit in love with them both. But here they are.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, and for the kind words.
Yes.
You're welcome.
You for being here. Oh, there's people commenting, look.
There is. And I'm doing my thing. I'm sharing the comments like I was instructed to. I've never done this before.
Those are 2 of the kindest people in the States in the paranormal right there. Todd and Carmela, Coco Tylo. I said it right?
You did.
Guys struggle. They're sweet people. We saw Gemma. Yeah. Hello to Gemma. We're excited about this. This is an unbelievably cool event with a lineup of lineups that we look at it and we feel like turtle on fence post almost. Like you see one of those, you don't know how it got there. You don't know what it's going to do next. It's amazing. We're really happy about this.
So you came through to us with a recommendation. So at the festival last year, we had Daryl join us, and he said to me, you have to get these guys in. They are blowing up the States with their technology and what they're doing. They're some of the greatest people on earth. They're just beautiful people. You have to meet them. And then we had a phone call, didn't we? And that's it. And we've roped you in, and now you're stuck with us. Yeah. So the lineup is pretty epic, isn't it? So we have a pretty full. Yeah, there's Penny's on there as well. She's on there somewhere.
We are happily stuck with you, by the way.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. Because 4 days is a long time. It really is. It's a very long time. But
it's pretty intense. It is pretty intense, those 4 days. You know everyone's life stories by the end of it. Honestly, it's I've actually warned a couple of the other guests, like, be prepared to talk. Like, it's good though. It's good. You become a family. You do become a family at the end of it, don't you, Rach?
Yeah, and we're always saying we have a paranormal family, the festival family. And I don't think people really appreciate that until they've been to the festival and they've experienced it themselves. There are so many people that you speak to for years and years online. There's loads of people, look, it's great. So there's loads of people that you meet and talk to online and you never get to meet them in person. So when you do, you either really love them, which is usually what happens, or you're like, do you know what, you're not my cup of tea. So it's a really...
So were you lying to me, Rachel, when you said you love me?
I'm going to America with you. I think that shows what kind of love and devotion I have for you.
That's true.
Be careful. She may plan to leave you in America.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, the true sign of love is if you leave together.
I've got Ron's telephone number and Daryl's my emergency contact. I'll be fine.
There you go.
I'll have Wes. I'll go back to Canada.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you both have backup plans. Okay.
Yeah,
I do. I'm just going to come stay with you.
That's great.
not a problem.
I'll just sleep at Mifflin. I'll just find a little space at Fort Mifflin and go to sleep there. Thanks.
Yeah. So honestly and embarrassingly, probably to admit, we're an hour and a half from the Shanley, which I told you, which is our second home. We're about an hour and a half, give or take, from Fort Mifflin. We've never been to Fort Mifflin.
It'll be our first time.
We've not been there. This is going to be our first time.
You're coming there with us as well the second night, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to be so fed up of the English by the end of those 48 hours, I tell you.
I love it. I love it. I do. I love
fed
the
up with me,
accent.
did you say? Yeah, thanks, Rachel.
This is fantastic because one of the things that we decided to do, we both were on teams earlier on in our paranormal endeavors. And then we looked at each other when we had parted with different teams and moved on, and we were like, let's just be us. And because we see some teams that won't work with other teams, or if one team running it, the other team's not there. But we like working with a lot of these different people. Let's just do that. And this is before we had this whole Staticom thing going on. Hey, Leland. So we didn't even know where it was going, but that's been probably one of the most enjoyable parts of what we've been doing since we've been doing it together. So now you've given us an opportunity to broaden our horizons even more and meet yourselves, work with you guys to meet the fans and attendees that come to your event. That's opening up a whole other level of experience for us. That's the most important thing in the field. I think so many people lose sight of when they want the pat on the back, the face on the poster. And we appreciate those things like anybody else, but the experience is the takeaway. The people and the relationships are the takeaway, you know? So this is why we're excited about this.
Yeah, we're thrilled. I'm so excited. And I'm excited for you ladies to come this week. So
yeah.
Well, one of the things I want to say as one of the speakers, and this will be my third year doing the festival, it is people like Rachel and the crew that give people a chance to do that, to mingle, to talk to each other, to actually have this really, really great relationship, because I'd never done anything like the festival when did I do the first one? March 22, wasn't it, right? Was it March 22? Yeah. I'd never done anything like that before, so they took a bit of a risk on me, and feedback was pretty good, and I got asked back the following year, and then coming back this year again. So one of the things I do, I mean, I don't know whether I'm coming at this from a festival person or one of the guests, but is saying thank you to people like Rachel and Karen for taking a chance on people that maybe aren't so well known and giving them that platform to say there's other people out there you can talk to.
Yeah, meet and bounce ideas, right? Learn from each other. That's what it's all about. Absolutely.
That's huge. And when Daryl Marston went to bat for us, which he's done often, and we're very grateful for that he's done that. One of the things about that we loved is that we have one TV show credit coming up this year, but we're not known from TV or from media. But what we're doing with our work with ourselves, and then we have our partners in Arizona in the U.S., Tony and Sheree Rathman, who we do the Staticom project with. That's what's been foundationally how people are knowing who we are, from our lectures, from our work, and from the results and stuff that we're putting out. So that to us is really, really rewarding. So for Rachel and Karen and yourselves to give us an opportunity to bring it there and share it with people. And that's, again, that's one of the things that we're really excited about.
Yeah. It's all her. or her, whichever way she is.
I know I do the same thing.
I get it wrong every time. Yeah, except her. I get her right all the time. Everybody else no.
I don't get him right.
Yeah.
I think one of the great things about the festival is that it's given people opportunities to work together on a much larger scale as well. So not just that networking opportunity,
right.
But we've had some really great outcomes. If we look at what's happening now with the My Haunted Hotel, that project, how that's now spread over to the States. So that would have been an opportunity that would have arisen had they not have met the festival. So it's really great to see these collaborations coming out of the festival. And another thing that I really love is that you've got paranormal enthusiasts that might have been in a few events. They're not part of a team and are so starstruck sometimes when they're meeting some of their TV heroes, and they feel they can't teach them anything, yet people are going back, learning something new, whether they're a speaker or a guest. Everybody's learning something new from each other. And it's a great place where people can just sit and listen to each other.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to leave their egos at the door. And that's one of the things that I've not experienced before at events. It's everyone just relaxes. There's no ego. We're just all doing our passion.
Yeah.
Better term. But it is nice that people feel they can come over and sit and have a drink with you and ask you a question, and then you can ask them a question. And it's a lovely atmosphere, isn't it, Rach?
Yeah, and the tequila helps also.
Here she is. There's Karen.
Hey,
the boss is in.
Karen's at work at the moment. Oh, Greg's there. Look. Hello, Greg.
Mr. Greg. Hi, Greg. We'll be seeing you soon as well. You poor man. Poor man.
And he's going to come stay with you if it all goes wrong.
Yeah. I'll be living at the fort if it all goes wrong. If Rachel ditches me, sorry about that.
It's a long time to spend with someone, isn't it?
Nah.
We're either gonna kill each other by the end of it, or have really, really bonded even more. So
I think we're gonna bond even more. It's gonna be a bonding moment. Yeah.
Oh, I like your optimism. I do like your optimism.
Oh, she's beaming with optimism. We genuinely love the interaction with the people when we do digital seance events, and when we meet the public and go out. We just did one last weekend. And they have like a personal connection moment. We give them some kind of solace or closure, or they felt something from what we did.
One Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Tuesday.
Yeah,
that's right. We just did one Tuesday up in New York State, maybe 45 minutes from here.
That's one of the. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, say it,
that's one of the best things. Like when we're doing it and someone's loved one comes through and they have this emotional moment, and then they tell us that it was life changing for them, and they heard things that they only knew, and that's really rewarding. And we're grateful that we're able to give people those moments.
Yeah, and we met Daryl because he was doing an event at the Ritz Theater in South New Jersey, and our friends were going, and they said, "Hey, why don't you guys come down and bring Staticom?" And we're like, "No, that's his event." They said, "Well, we'll ask him." I said, "If he says he wants us to come down, because he didn't really know us yet, we'll go. But otherwise, we're not going to, disrespectfully show up. This is his deal." He was like, "Yeah, come on down." He's like, he's so cool, Yeah, he's like, nice, "Come on down." So we went down, and he was enamored when he saw what we did and how it worked. It's unlike the ghost box modality, which is what most people know from ITC, and that was an opportunity for us through being invited to somewhere, through meeting people through the community that that we didn't even have on the calendar. So
because if it wasn't for us going around meeting, because we were, like you said, we were both on two teams, and we found there's a lot of control issues and stuff like that, and I was like, I want to work with other people, and he agreed, and we just decided to do it, and we wouldn't have a lot of the opportunities that we're getting because of that. We're supposed to work with each other, not against each other.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I agree. Are you going to be, when we come over to the States I'll say next month, because it's nearly next month. Are we going to be using the Staticom?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So we'll see it in action.
That's all we do now, too. We bought equipment over the years like everybody else. And now I just feel like an eBay that doesn't sell anything. I've got
digital recorder.
I've got stuff sitting around. Yeah, digital recorder. Of course, we do EVP stuff still. We have great ghost boxes. I love them, but we I guess to give a background on it for people who don't know, we brought back which is predominantly, she's awesome, a European-based method called direct radio voice. Nobody was doing it here. The ghost boxes and the builders were doing a fantastic job for the last 25 years. I'm not a handy tool person to build stuff like that. If I was welding circuits daily, I would high five you with fewer fingers. So we looked for something else. I found direct radio voice, and in 2019 we brought it back. And then over the past few years, we developed it into changing some stuff, and we took on we have partners, Tony and Sheree Rathman out in Arizona, who are amazing people. You make good choices when you have good people and you put a collaboration together, and the results and the friendship and everything blossoms almost instantly. Like, it was just, we gelled. There's mutual love and respect. The quality of what we do improved. So Staticom, just for people who may not know, it came from direct radio voice, which predates any Frank's box, spirit box, ghost box. And it was using a barren, empty white noise frequency on an AM band, usually like short, medium wave. And we started with that. And then what we did was we started taking everything that's done in audio review with paranormal evidence. Where people will go home and they'll take their files and they'll denoise it, they'll amplify it, and they'll slow it down. And we looked at it and went, well, ITC was designed to be dialogue in real time, right? EVP, you record, you review. But when you go home, the dialogue's over. So we said, why don't we take everything that gets done with audio capture when you go home and do it in the moment of contact? There's your opportunity to have a back and forth. So we started doing that. The next thing that we did, which was a first for ITC, was we took pure white noise, not a sweep, because it's not a sweeping box, and we slowed down the flow of pure white noise, because the vocals, which was traditionally known through especially early EVP research in Europe, come in not only faster than we can detect, they come in faster than the human vocal tract is capable of speaking. So we were missing stuff, and we found out from slowing things down. So now we're cleaning it up in real time, and we're slowing it down in real time. Why did we change it to Staticom from direct radio voice? Well, there's one reason right there, Tony Rathman.
Yep.
That's Tony and Sheree right there. If you see their little icon picture.
Partners.
The short version, we did an underground zinc mine in New Jersey with a radio for direct radio voice, all that filtration and slowing down. There was zero signal. We're in a zinc mine. This is like a geological Faraday cage. It's where cell phones, radios, and their signals go to die. Yeah. And we got voices with the white noise. Yep. Tony and Sheree were doing a live presentation in Arizona, and he decided he had a sleep machine in his bag, which is pre-recorded white noise on a chipcorder. It loops 3 seconds. You don't know if you're sleeping to it. He used that instead of a radio, and he got voices. So we realized between the four of us that we don't need radio reception or the carrier wave to get the voices. It's resonance, and the white noise is what's doing it. So now we took the radio out, because we worked very hard at looking at what are the things that ITC, or instrumental transcommunication, is critiqued for, what are the knocks on it, and how do we address or remove those. That was the first one. You're getting radio leakage or bleed through. Now we're not using a radio, and we're not using a sleep machine. It's a generator that makes live white noise, and it's a closed circuit system. Goes through an interface, through the software, filtered, slowed down. We kind of lop off the noise floor at the bottom. The voices that through resonance elevate are what comes through. So it's very clean.
And there's no outside interference.
Right. And what else does white noise not have?
Data.
No data in the white noise.
So even if you don't understand the voices, we do get a lot of clear voices. But even if you don't understand the voices, those voices shouldn't be there. Regardless, they're not supposed to be there. And it's like if you say a word and I misheard you, if you said trip and I thought you said rip, that doesn't mean that you didn't speak a word. I just misheard you. So the voices are there when they're not supposed to be.
That's what they'll say a lot of times with ITCs, that people who hear stuff when they do experiments hear different things. So therefore it's not legitimate. No, we mishear people all the time. Words rhyme. So that stands to reason.
Yeah.
Again, like
so, do you only get the voices through in English? Or have you had other languages come through?
We get other languages come through. We get Spanish, we get English. Usually if the audience, if there's someone that speaks a language in the audience, we'll get that, like German. We've gotten German before, and we didn't know that we did until someone in the audience said, that's German. And it was, I believe it was someone for her, a loved one for her. But so if there is someone in the room that speaks another language other than English, it can come through.
Tony,
Yes.
Tony,
So do you tend to find it's when that person's asked the question in that language, or is it almost like the spirit knows that person understands the language?
We had both. We had that the person asked the question, and then we've had it just came out, and then there's someone in the back saying, "That's German."
Yeah.
And then they would know, someone in the room knows that language.
Italian, Spanish. And I was just going to say that Tony Rothman, just within the last couple of weeks,
Latin he got
Turkish. Which someone was able to tell him what it was. Yeah, and to my knowledge, he doesn't speak Turkish, and if he does, he's not shared it with us. But so that does happen. Okay. So we, again, like she said, even the mishearing things. That's another thing that you hear with ITC is that people hear different stuff, so it's not reliable. We mishear each other all the time. Humanity is not unreliable just because we mishear things. So we took the radio off. There's no radio bleed through now. That criticism's gone. We addressed that. The only other thing that ITC gets hit with as a critique is that you're using white noise, and white noise is random, and that we can sometimes discern patterns in randomness. So it's actually warbles and artifacts of sound. So let me unpack this quickly. When they say we can discern patterns with sounds, that's not a debunking statement. That's an appeal to our intellect. That's how we communicate. Understanding configurations of sounds, consonants, vowels, diphthongs in context with referential points. That's how we communicate, is identifying speech. So that doesn't really explain it away. It supports it. The other part of it is that, and you'll hear this a lot in the paranormal, but we get it with the white noises. They'll say that it's random. Yeah. White noise is not fundamentally random. Okay. There are things that are deterministic within the white noise. It's quantum fields, electromagnetic fields, charged ion particles from the sun. There are things that are affecting it. We think also speech, because we are getting characteristics of speech, cadence, depth, tonality. So it's not fundamentally random. You just can't calculate it or measure it at the time. So when people say random in the paranormal, it's really an empty drawer. It's just what we say when we can't calculate something. So it's not random. It's computationally irreducible. It can't be calculated at the time. So for us, we've addressed every critique that's viable for ITC.
Rach, do you want to add anything? My brain is going a bit like right now. I'm a historian. I'm not a scientist. I'm a bit like, I think I kept up with you then.
No, well, we're not scientists. We're not scientists either. And actually, one of the things that we're really excited about is that ourselves and the Rothmans in Arizona are now, when we lecture, presenting the idea of spirit communication and contact on a foundation of philosophy of mind, which is called analytic idealism, because it allows for the things that we all get and do in the paranormal to actually happen. It's just nature doing what it's doing. It's not something that needs some fantastical explanation to fit into a paradigm that it doesn't fit into. That's why we lose the argument all the time, because we paradoxically try to take something that we say is paranormal, supernatural, it's outside measurable physics and science. And then in trying to prove it or explain it to people, we try to cram it back into some kind of a physics-based explanation. We just said it doesn't go there.
So analytic idealism, now it makes the paranormal normal, and it doesn't conflict with everything that we already know here in our realm. It doesn't conflict with anything. It allows for everything. So that's what we're working under.
That's a brilliant question.
Russ's question. Did the research of Raudive and Jurgensen have any influences on your work?
So not only influences, that is our lineage as far as our history with this stuff. So interesting, on the coattails of what Lourdes just said, Konstantin Raudive was a parapsychologist, but he studied under Carl Jung. The philosophy that we're preaching as a substrate for spirit communication is Jungian based. It's based on the same idealistic, similar. It comes from Jungian philosophy. Jurgensen was the father of direct radio voice, which our method is derived from. I think the only living member of the original guard of these are the true, not the people from television, but the actual pioneers in research of EVP and then ITC, Raudive, Jurgensen, Bocci, Dr. Ernst Sinkowski, who's a German physicist who came up with the term ITC, or in Europe, I think it was TCI, Transcommunication Instrumental. And then Dr. Anabela Cardoso, who I think is the only one left. Dr. Anabela Cardoso mentored me into direct radio voice. She endorsed my first book. She sat with Marcello Bacci, who made DRV famous. She knew Jurgensen, Rodave. She knew Robin Foy, Dave Fontana. So she's, in our opinion, royalty. So I learned from her. And then what we did was we adopted and adapted the method. Part of which was an influence. There's a gentleman in the United States who's also part of the lineage of ITC from the meta-science side of it. No, Keith Clark.
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
a site called Paranormal with a V, and he was doing live filtration of sound first. But he had told us that you can't put a ghost box through that because it has vocal fragments in it. And so you're looking for anomalous voices that shouldn't be there. So if you put something with voice through the process, that's like throwing coins at the beach, coming back an hour later with a metal detector going, look what I found. You put it there. So he influenced us with adding the live filtration in real time, but that's how we adapted direct radio voice. We took a white noise source, realizing that the radio reception was not an integral part of getting the voices, took that out. And then we did a lot of the cleanup that gets done in review in the moment of contact. And then it evolved to Staticom because when Tony did his experiment with the sleep machine and we did the thing in the mine without radio signal, we couldn't call it direct radio voice without a radio. So we got the name Staticom. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. Tony was on some podcast like 2 weeks ago, if that. And we watched it and we were on our YouTube and then we were looking at some of our old stuff from like years ago when we started.
2019.
Yeah. And there's this 5-minute video and I start watching it. A minute or so into it, she hears something and she doesn't say anything because she knows I want to finish watching the whole thing. We finished. She goes, go back to the beginning. I went, what? She goes, go back to the beginning. So we go back and about 1 minute and 8 seconds into it, a voice says Staticom. Why is that important? This is January 25th, 2020. We didn't even know the Rathmans yet at the time. The name Staticom came from somebody who gifted it to Tony, who had come up with it himself 12 years ago, doing experiments with white noise. So 3.5 years before we took that name on, we got it through a recording and didn't even know. And just found it.
And the person he got the name from, he was also working with white noise.
Right.
So we believe is when they saw that we were starting to work with white noise, the name came through. But of course, we didn't recognize it because we didn't know anything about Staticom. And then, we adopted the name 4 years later. About 4 years later. Yeah.
Well, I will say we don't want to let all the secrets out because we want people to find out stuff in September when they hear, because I guess these guys will be doing a talk, will they?
Absolutely,
Rachel?
Yeah.
We want to keep a little bit back so that people they've got a bit of information now. I've got to go off and read up on some stuff because you've sent me on another side quest, which I really don't need, but
Rachel was right. Rachel said we were going to love you right away. She did.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. No, it's definitely so. One of the cool things is that I could show you every Staticom clip recording I have. We could sit here for 10 hours, and when we come there and do it, it's going to be unique to that moment.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I'm looking forward to seeing it when we come to the States, seeing it in action, because I know it's probably going to go. But one of my favorite gadgets is a spirit box. It's and using it as an interactive. And getting immediate answers back to questions, and I have used those. And I mean, you were mentioning about using one in the mine. I used a spirit box in a nuclear bunker near where I live in Essex, and it's within a Faraday cage. There is no radio signal, and it was only when someone pointed out to me we heard voices.
Right.
It couldn't have been the radio because there's no radio signal here.
Right.
So I being not a scientisty person, I didn't think of that until someone said, "Why do you think they had a blooming great mast when this was a bunker? You can't get radio signals in here." So I do find that whole sort of immediate stuff fascinating.
Yes.
Great. Rach, jump in, because I feel like I'm doing all the talking, mate.
No, it's fine. You crack on. I love how enthusiastic you are.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is something
I get enthusiastic.
You do.
Tony Rathman's comment he just put in there is very telling. He built spirit boxes for 12 years when we brought them on board with direct radio voice before we changed the name, and he saw, and this is one of the differences between ghost boxes and what we do is we get full sentences. There's no vocals there from the radio because it doesn't receive any signal or record. So anything, like she said, that's there with no data shouldn't be there. So it's already anomalous and vetted out of the gate. You're not competing with the sound of the box, with the sweeping part of it. So somebody who built really good boxes for 12 years, since he's been doing direct radio voice Staticom, has not turned one on since he's been on board with this stuff. It's definitely, we've had open line conversations at a location when you're sitting there talking, and anytime you ask a question, out of silence a response will come. We have from the Shanley Hotel, we have one voice that was on a rant for like 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Yeah,
the same voice. I've never seen a ghost box do that. We don't think the modality can do it because of how it works. I think it inhibits itself to a brevity or a shortness of the messages because of the sweep. Because if they're using the white noise through resonance to come through, then when you avail them of the white noise, you're breaking it up with the sweep. So every time it's cycling through the band, you might be getting longer messages.
And you're not receiving
but you're
them.
not, right.
Because that's why we slow down the white noise, because the voices come in sometimes, a lot of times, quicker than we can detect them. That's how fast they come in. So imagine if you're sweeping. I mean, you do get, because we love our, spirit boxes and ghost boxes. We get, messages, but not the way with Staticom when you get 3 sentences sometimes. Like that. It was like 4 sentences, right?
At least
the same voice. So
and knowing that there's nothing.
That's another thing.
There's nothing there except that a voice
White
came
noise.
through with timing, relevance, and it's coming through the white noise.
It's it's the purest form that comes closest to just capturing an EVP on a digital recorder, because there's no radio. It's just white noise. It's like crazy when something comes through. It's amazing.
Yeah. And sometimes
I'm looking forward to seeing it in action next month. Definitely. Rach, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so I was following you for a while because you were doing some of the live sessions on Facebook, weren't you? So you were on about 5 a.m. UK time. So I'd get up early for the school run and I'd be like, oh, look, he's online. And some of the direct responses, intelligent responses that you were getting at that very moment. It's like, here's Rachel. And then it would say my name. And it was just incredible that you were getting those real time, and it was so clear, and the full sentences as well. So I've never heard anything like that before. So that was pretty. Please do those again, but not at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's so funny because I've been getting hounded now from different people because for a while I was doing them, and then we worked on some changes, and then Tony made a breakthrough where we moved up to what we call Staticom 2.0. And since we've been playing around with the new version of it, I haven't gone on, but I would go on anywhere between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., and I would go on for an hour or two. And then 5 hours and several cups of coffee later, I'm like Michael Keaton in the movie White Noise. Like I'm just all strung out sitting here. But it was great. And, some of those sessions, like Rachel mentioned, you get multiple confirmations. So then now you take this whole pareidolia thing and hearing what you want to hear. You've got people who are listening remotely in different areas who are hearing the same answers and hearing the same responses across the board. So you have multiple confirmations of hearing the same thing. Now that it's not a shared pareidolia, right? So, and that's a whole other thing too. The pareidolia thing kind of gets thrown around the way WebMD throws around headache. It's a symptom of everything. It's so liberally used. I think it's in some ways a convenient fiction. They say it because it appears to be what's happening, and they can just kind of dismiss what's going on. But where's the statistics that show how pareidolia affects people in daily life? Why is it only predatory to the paranormal? How many people go into their supervisor and they go, "You're fired," and they go, "What? A raise? Fantastic. I'm sorry, pareidolia, my prescription ran out." It never happens. It only seems to happen when you're doing paranormal audio review. Then all of a sudden, your reliability of hearing.
Unless you're talking about song lyrics. It seems to happen with that.
Yeah.
When people are singing along to songs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But they're still words, though, right?
Yeah, they're still words.
They are still words.
They're still words.
Wrong words, but yeah, they're still
no,
words.
that's true. Yeah.
And Jenny had put a comment up there that she says you don't hear in a spirit box more 2 or 3 voices
That's
at
true.
once. And the funny thing is when we first started with the software and we still was using the radio, the first time he turned it on, I heard so many voices. Like it was overwhelming. Like it was a lot of voices that you couldn't even understand them, but you can tell it sounded like a crowd of people. And that's why then he just went on further to try to clear up those voices, to try to trickle them down to just 2 or 3, because it was too many to understand the voices. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a non-locality of it, which is fascinating. Tony and Sheree have done events out in Arizona. We ran ours the same night at home. How many people did he have in attendance? I talked to him the next day. Said, "Did you have 30 people in attendance?" He's like, "Yeah." "How did you know?" "It came through. We got the exact number." She'll come downstairs in the middle of the night if I'm still sitting here to get water, and out of the speaker it'll go, "Hi, Lourdes."
I'm like, "Hi." Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to show you guys. I can't wait to spend time.
I'm looking forward to the sneak peek, right?
Yeah, you got the preview.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that we're going to have that.
And for the people of the United Kingdom that are coming to the festival, you're welcome.
Very
welcome. Yeah, she is.
So in a nutshell, guys, what are you most looking forward to coming to the UK in September?
Meeting you guys,
yeah,
of course.
I would say meeting. Yeah, I would agree. Meeting everybody.
Have you been to the UK before? Have you been here before?
I have not.
I have once. Yeah, I have a background in media and broadcast. I used to do for a lot of the cage fighting and boxing. I did broadcast. So I came over I was in Wembley at an event for a couple of days, but it was, production meetings. Like I didn't really get to see too much. So I definitely wanted to come back. And then now, no better reason and no more passion-driven purpose than to come and do this. But I agree with what she said.
Yeah, and
we do what we do here all the time. We get to share it with people all the time, but now we get to share it with you guys. We get to meet everybody there. This whole family thing,
spend some time
genuine,
together,
and we love that.
and investigate. That's gonna be cool. Yeah,
very cool, very cool. And I know what I've got up my sleeve for you all on the Friday on the history tour. Ha ha!
That's
right.
Cool.
She does love a prop. Yeah, because we've actually got quite a lot planned for you throughout the festival. So you arrive and straight away we're taking you on a paranormal investigation of my favourite haunted location in the world. It's amazing.
And it's what I've never done. I've never done it. So it's a first for me.
Penny's never actually been. So it's the Justice Galleries in Nottingham, and it's the old courthouse. There is an old pit down there where they used to throw the paupers, where they hand dug it. You can see the claw marks in there, the scratch marks.
Wow.
It's a really macabre place. And the only place I've ever brought something home with me, rookie mistake, invited it to come with me. So we're going to take you there. So I think we'll do a cleansing after we've left there.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty. Then we have Penny's day trip. So for those that have booked the angelic tickets, we get to go off the day, and we usually have a history tour. So it's really hard to say good things about Penny when she sat looking at me. So I'm just going to cover the screen there. Look, there we go. So what's great about Penny is when she does her history tours, she does it with a bit of humour, throws in some swear words every so often. Yes. There are props. There's usually hats. There's flags, and she gets everybody involved. So it's not just a standard walk around a historical place, pointing out a couple of bullet holes. Penny will make you get dressed up, and you will be involved whether you like it or not. No isn't in her vocabulary. So you will get stuck in.
And if you don't laugh at my jokes, you're in trouble, really.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love it because you can't guarantee paranormal stuff on a paranormal event, but you can guarantee a good experience for them. And that I'm sure people remember more. They retain it. They'll tell more people because you make it entertaining. If that's how you do it, that's great. Even when we lecture, I'm half clown. I'm talking analytic idealist philosophy on one hand, and the next thing I'm making jokes. It's like you have to make it palatable for people and make it fun.
Yeah,
because you're engaging.
I agree. Because So do you want me to disappear again, or am I all right back?
I've said enough good things about you. That'll do. That'll do for now.
My ego is going to be growing too much.
We'll go off, and she'll just burst into tears because I've been so crazy. So that's all you're having now, Penny. It's enough.
Okay.
It's only
all
a
right.
Thursday.
Thank you.
But we're not telling anybody where we're going either, so it's usually a surprise. So we like to just throw everybody onto a coach and we just head off to a secret location. And last year we did some clues, didn't we? So people trying to guess where we're going. Nobody got it, even when we pulled up to the gate.
Oh wow.
Some of the guests were so blown away by the tour. They said it was the highlight of the entire festival.
Nice.
Oh, it's kind again then. I didn't mean to do that. Look at her.
You're going to be real for the next month. You're going to have to be horrible to me to sort of balance this out.
I'm going to snore like a pig, Penny. We're sharing a room, so I'm going to get all the niceties out of the house so you can deal with my snoring.
That's so cool.
Like 2 weeks of snoring, Ashman. But not only do we have that, but at the Friday night we have Cindy Kaiser who's going to do a gallery reading, so that's going to be really fantastic. So really excited about that. So anybody with an Angelic ticket is welcome to come to that. And we also sell it separately as well. So that's another thing you're involved in. And then Saturday, we have the talks and we have exhibitions. And then we have, we have our sit-down dinner. We have a formal dinner. Get yourself a frock and a suit. So we get all dressed up. It's red carpet glam. And we have a live band playing rock covers. They've come all the way from Yorkshire, God's own country. And we're also doing our festival awards. So our festival awards aren't like anything else. They're a little unusual. We don't take ourselves too seriously. And by signing up to the Festival Unexplained, you've got to have a little bit of a personality and be able to laugh at yourself. So some of our categories are things like the most ridiculous host, which I'm really hoping that Karen is winning at the moment.
It's got to be Karen. It's got to be Karen.
The winner has to sing the band. So I'm really hoping that Karen's winning that at the moment. And things like the sharpest dressed man, the most beautifully dressed woman, who killed karaoke, whose liver died from drinking too much alcohol. So it's
Donnie!
It's going to be there's some clear winners. But it's just a little bit of fun, and it's just a way to involve everybody as well. You know, we are all the festival family. It's not just about the people that we bring over and the speakers. It's about our little family as well, all those that we've got to know and meet in person. Mm-hmm. And it's just a great way to just sort of have a bit of a laugh together and not take ourselves too seriously. We're laughing at ourselves as well, the festival. We didn't include Penny, I'm afraid, in the most ridiculous host, but now you've done a live with me, I think that you're up for that next time.
No, she's no.
Amazing host. You got the wrong word in there.
No, there's no fun in that. And so then on the
sweariest historian, I'll take that one. Sweariest historian.
Yeah, you win that one.
I should win that hands down, really.
And then Sunday we have speakers and more stalls again. So it's going to be a ram-packed full weekend of great people, great activities, and Staticom. So excited! I can't wait.
We're excited too because I know that Cindy Kaiser doesn't. I don't think she's familiar with what we do. I think Shane knows what we do, but he's not seen it. At an expo in New Jersey, the New Jersey Para Unity, Dave Schrader did come back to where our exhibit room was at the end on the second day, and he was having a conversation with some voice through Staticom for like 10 minutes or so before he left. Yeah. So he was kind of like, because he didn't know what to expect, and he started talking, and somebody was responding to him. So that's also cool for us to be able to share it. And I remember when Karen had Danny Moss on to do his interview, like this. That just prior to that, I had run a session and I asked about the festival and any of the speakers that were going to be there. And a voice said, Danny Moss. And I said, did you say Danny Moss? And it said he he speaks for England or something. It was a whole thing. And
in England.
No, he speaks for England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And then I'd sent it to her. So that was
Yeah.
Phenomenally on
I don't know
point.
about Danny speaking for England. He drinks for England. Isn't that true, Rachel?
I'll have to go re-examine that word.
No, Danny's great. Danny's got a really good way of sort of verbalizing what a lot of us are thinking but dare ever say. So hashtag no filter. But he's just got a great way of putting across other people's opinions, you know, what we sort of feel as a collective. He's quite good at expressing that. So yeah, sometimes he does talk for England. Yeah. It's great.
It was funny. I sent him, because I didn't really have a conversation with him before. And I sent it to Daryl too. And Daryl says, send it to Danny. And I sent it to him. And he was in the airport leaving Philadelphia in the US to go back home. And he listened to it, and he was kind of a little freaked out.
I think he was a little freaked out
that his name came through.
He was a little freaked out.
And I named everybody, you guys, everybody speaking. I named everybody on the list that was on the post or whatever, just to see if I can get any kind of responses or feedback on something. And his name and that thing came through really clear.
First and last name.
Yep.
First, I think that's what freaked him out, because it was his first and last name.
Yeah. Pretty definite. Yeah, it was pretty definite. I did listen to the clip. I did listen to it. So yeah, I do know the one. I do know the one. But I think on that note, Rachel, do you want to close it down for us?
Should we do the boring bit? So this is the boring
let's do the boring bit. You do the boring bit.
So the boring bit, everybody get comfortable. So if you would like to join us at the festival, Other Than Explained 2024, then head over to festivalunexplained.com. We have a variety of tickets available. So you can purchase the angelic tickets. It's scrolling across the bottom. So if you would like to join us, head to the website. We have angelic tickets available, which is the full VIP package. We also have a create your own package. You can go and choose all the little events that you want to do, whether you just want to go for the day, or you would just like to go see Cindy, or you might like to join us on the ghost hunt. We do only have one ticket left for the investigation on the Friday evening. So we just have the one ticket left. Well done, Colette. She's got hers. Good girl. Mad as a box of frogs. Completely bonkers. She's great. And
she said she likes you and me, so you know,
it's standard
mad as box of frogs.
behavior, isn't it? It's standard British behaviour. We also have just released our family tickets as well. So we were approached by a lot of people saying, I have a 12-year-old, I have a 6-year-old who love the paranormal. They watch Help My House is Haunted. They love ghost adventures. They'd really like to go. So what we've done is we have created a family ticket. And that is just for the day. So just for Saturday during the day, or just for the Sunday. So anything after 5 o'clock is 18 and over. So please be aware of that if you are purchasing family tickets. But there's a variety of tickets available, whether you're a single parent with 3 children or 4 children, or 2 adults, 2 children, 2 adults, 3 children. There's a variety of options there. So we don't want to miss anyone out. I know that my small people will be attending because they want to meet everybody. She'll walk around with her little booklet and get everybody's autographs. She'll be coming around and to get everybody's autographs. But I know that my children aren't the only ones that are fascinated with the paranormal. So it's a really great and safe opportunity and place for people to come and just get to know each other and to meet some of their heroes. And let's encourage the next generation of paranormal investigators.
Anthony Simonelli, if he comes over in our suitcase, we get some good Italian food from Queens, New York.
It'll be very
for sure. Yeah, he brings food to every investigation. You don't starve if he shows up.
Yeah.
What's he doing in May?
You know what?
You know what?
He would if he's invited. I bet he'll come.
I'm sure we can. I'm sure for Mifflin anyway, we can make that happen, can't we, Rach?
I don't know. You arranged it all. I'm just getting on a plane and going with you. I'm just going with you.
We shall speak to our friendly Canadian who's organising it. So yeah.
Anthony,
I don't know how the Shanley's working, but we will speak to you know Wes as well, don't you? So
yeah, we know him, and we know the Shanley really well too. So we could always they know him at the Shanley too. We had 99% of the time that we're there, he's with us. He's with us a lot.
Proper Italian food.
Yeah, yes. He will. He always brings
He's
food.
with us a lot. I can almost put him on my taxes if that gives you any idea how much time he spends with us.
We love him.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah. He's like my big brother.
Oh, well, thank you.
And that's
so
awesome,
much
by the way. Thank you. And I say that's awesome, by the way, the family package thing that you're talking about. You have an audience. You're in touch with what they want. You're in touch with what they're interested in. You're making things work so that they can have children come and experience it and see it. That's great.
The thing is, because of where it's located, it's right in the centre of England. So it's kind of easy for everybody to come to, but because it's quite an isolated area, it is a beautiful hotel, and there's not a great deal around it. So it can be quite difficult to go away for just the weekend. So it's quite nice that you can take your children with you, so you're not worrying about childcare and being that far away from them, or having no reception or internet away from them. And mine have been dying to go for the last couple of years, but because of insurance, we've just been, it's got to be 18 or over. Changed our insurance policy, and we can now have children attend. So I think it just encourages that next generation. It gives families an opportunity to go out and do something together as a family. They'll sit there and they might watch the Halls of Files, and then there they are all in front of you, all three of them. And the children are excited. Cool. The parents are excited because the children are excited. Right. And because it's quite informal during the day, you can go up and you can approach people. It's not like you have to queue for hours, and it's a quick shake of hand and there's a change of money. It's really informal. You can just go and chat to people whenever you want to.
You mingle.
Yeah, it's a mingling. It's not a networking event. It's a friend-making event. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what sets us apart from some of the other events. So I'll bring cannelloni. Oh, good boy.
Yeah, he will bring cannolis.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have to tell you what, after this America trip, dude, we're going to have extra baggage to get back, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the food.
To bring
us back.
To bring
us back. We're going to weigh the aeroplane down too much.
They charge you extra.
We've got budget flights home. Don't say things like that. It's going to be turbulent as it is, isn't it?
But I like I like the turbulence when I'm flying, so I'm a bit weird like that. Anyway. Oh yeah. Not a story for another day. I won't bore you with all of my flying exploits. But
no, she'll do that in May.
Yeah, I will. If you want to know, I'll bore you.
Yeah.
Up in May. Yeah. I'm an aviation geek, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, she is nerd.
I love nerds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are lovable. Well, thank you both ever so much for making my first ever time obviously I've done podcasts, but my first ever time running this darn system in like 8 hours notice. So pleasurable and so easy. Ashman, thank you for being nice to me.
Always.
Would you like to say farewell?
Yes, so thank you both very much for coming, and thank you to everybody that's watched and they've made comments and sent questions. We greatly appreciate it. So until our next live, and I have no idea who that's with because I live for the element of surprise. Thank you, everybody, and good night, and see you soon.
Good night.
Night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.